Welcome back to Techspin, and we're testing the Cooler Master HAF 500. It's an ATX case with the mesh front, two huge 200mm ARGB fans, and it's perfect for a high-end build with a long GPU. It's based on the previous H500 lineup with great airflow, and one big difference, it has a removable top panel for easy AIO installation. And great quality memory for your build comes from our sponsor, Team Group. Team Group is perfect for your memory needs with DDR4 and DDR5 T-Force Delta RGB sticks, Vulkan DDR4 and DDR5, M.2 and SATA SSDs. Check them out at the links below. If this video helps you, please hit like and subscribe, follow us on social media, and leave your questions or comments below. There's a TechspinReview.com companion post and self-hosted affiliate link pages, so thanks for your support. The Cooler Master HAF 500 is a really solid tempered glass side panel case with huge dual 200mm ARGB fans sitting behind a mesh front and a 120mm ARGB at the back. With 410mm clearance for GPUs, it supports the latest RTX 40 series long GPUs, so you'll have no problems, and supports 280 and 360mm radiators front and top with a 10GB Type-C USB 3.2 Gen 2 in the front I/O. Top AIO installation is way easier with the removable top panel, gaining access to top corner motherboard wiring, but working vertically, you'll run into the issue of how to support this above. The PSU cover is removable but can be tricky to remove with the front I/O cables connected, and the tray cutout is cramped to run PSU cables through. Some small points on an otherwise great product. The Cooler Master HAF 500 is a very good, spacious, and easy to build in case. The Cooler Master HAF 500 comes in white or this black, with availability and pricing varying by region. List price on Amazon US is $170, on sale for $153, but we picked ours up for about $110, paying just about 3,400 NT here in Taiwan. Handling eATX, ATX, and more, the Cooler Master HAF 500 has a removable cable cover to accept wider motherboards. A tempered glass side panel with a top-loading design sits on the bottom ledge and snaps into the top with a rear screw to keep everything secure. GPU clearance is 410mm to the front, and the case opening here is actually wider at 424 to make installation easier, with CPU cooler clearance at 167 and PSU length at 180mm. The case is 516mm long by 224 wide and 510 high, that's 20.3 inches by 8.8 and 20 inches high. Weighing in at 9.5 kilograms or 20.9 pounds, it comes with zip ties, a screw bag, and probably a manual, which I can't find right now. With a removable drive cage for hard drives or SSDs, there's two additional spots behind the motherboard which use a screw peg into the drive, then push into the rubber grommet design. The tray cutout is 208mm wide by 145 high, and there's 28mm at the rear for cable management, with 3 rubber grommets for cable pass-through. The top of the motherboard tray lip has 2 small wiring cutouts that would be difficult to use, but are made easier because the top panel is removable. The Cooler Master HAF 500 comes with these front dual 200mm ARGB fans. This also supports 2 140mm fans, or a 240, 280, or 360mm radiator, and the exact same for the removable top, which has a spacious 55mm from the top to the motherboard edge. The rear has a color-matched 120mm ARGB fan. This area has no vertical travel, but there is clearance above and below. The last included fan is on top of the drive base, an angle adjustable fan with no lighting to assist GPU cooling. The case I/O is top center with a 10GB USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C, dual USB 3.2 Gen 1 should be 5GB speed, and an audio combo jack, and a square reset ARGB button and a Cooler Master shaped white LED edge-lit main power button. This is a short depressed switch with a ticky sound. There's also an ultra-tiny white LED just to the left to indicate drive access. To remove the front, first we'll undo the right side panel, which has captive screws top and bottom. Put that there. The tempered glass side has a non-captive thumb screw at the top to undo. Then gently push forward and lift up. To remove the front, there are 3 tabs on both the left and right side you'll need to push, and the panel comes off. And there's no wiring to the front, which makes cleaning the mesh easy. On the top, the full-width insert magnetic filter covers this open lattice design. Finally, the bottom filter pushes down slightly and slides back. This covers the PSU intake. The case rear has 7 PCIe slots with standard screw removable covers, with one above the GPU first slot. The PSU cover is removable by sliding forward and the PSU area has rubber feet for your power supply. For the bottom, they have long plastic feet with long rubber strips, 34mm of height for easy airflow, and you could probably sit a card reader under there easily. The Cooler Master HAF 500's glass side is 449mm wide by 474 high, with metal supports bottom to connect to the ledge and top to snap into the dual sockets, with a thumb screw at the back. The tempered glass is 3 mils thick. The feet on this side form a ledge, which is flush with the glass. The case comes with an ARGB board needing a SATA power connector that connects up to 4 fans, with an extra ARGB header to connect to other devices. There was some weirdness wiring this up with the Cooler Master ML360L V2 ARGB. This took longer than normal to chain up. Maybe it was a preferred port or something. We never did determine the exact cause. The inclusion of an angular fan on the drive bays is unique. Vertically, GPU temps go down a few degrees as it feeds it room temperature air more directly and assists pushing air out the rear. At 45 degrees is still beneficial, but the effect is less, according to testing done by Gamers Nexus. GPU power wires also run through this area, so you'll need to ensure stock wiring pigtails don't fall into the spinning fan blades. Be careful here. We're using Silverstone extensions for a clean look, and we had to run the GPU power wires through the top drive bay, and that's a first for me. We recommend you first build on a motherboard box, test, then remove power cabling to install it. Building in the Cooler Master HAF 500 was easy, setting aside the side panels safely, and always matching the motherboard standoff holes as you installed it. With the CPU in and AIO cooler installed, then an M.2 drive and DDR4 here, or 5, plugged into the motherboard, the AIO radiator was resting up front with no fans as we plugged in the CPU 8 power and the motherboard 24-pin power. Top mounting an AIO is a bit trickier than front because you're working underneath and there's gravity. After screwing the AIO to the top, we loosely attached fans with 2 screws each and wired up fan headers and ARGB to the rear ARGB splitters and top right motherboard headers. When everything's working, next comes the front I/O wiring, a quick test with onboard graphics, then the GPU. For noise, the Cooler Master HAF 500, we're getting 39.3 decibels with this build and 42.4 decibels max, and that's measured at 20 inches, about 51 centimeters distance. It sounds like the 2 internal 120mm fans are making more noise than the larger 200mm front fans. For CPU-only thermals, we saw 45.9 degrees Celsius case thermals after 10 minutes, and GPU-only thermals hit 53.6 degrees. This isn't tested with the same build. Unfortunately, time was tight and this build needed to be finished quickly as it's about to be sent out. For this build, we have an MSI B660 Tomahawk Wi-Fi DDR4, an Intel i5-13600K, PNY 2TB M.2, and a Cooler Master ML360L V2 ARGB with the rad mounted up top, paired with 32 gigs of Kingston Fury RAM. An MSI RTX 3080 Supreme is our GPU, with a Thermaltake Tough Power GF 850 watt power supply. We'll throw a testing that we did up here on screen showing what this setup achieved for thermals. Please take a moment to hit like, get subscribed, and click the bell. It supports us making new episodes, and you'll get notified when we release new videos. The Cooler Master HAF 500 has everything you want, lots of airflow, big ARGB fans, and filtered intakes, 10 gigabit Type-C USB 3.2 Gen 2, and a removable top panel and PSU cover for easy building, plus an extra assist fan for your GPU. Spacious and long enough for new RTX 40 series cards, the only problem may be finding this at a sale price. A very solid case, building in the Cooler Master HAF 500 was very easy due to the removable PSU cover and especially the top panel. Making this a convertible means a lot of structural rigidity is needed in the design and frame, and there's just a little flex, which is pretty impressive. The ARGB is also vibrant, and with a huge magnetic top filter, the finished build looks great.
Nice!
Both the top and front supporting 240, 280, and 360mm radiators gives the consumer lots of placement options, and the top being removable makes using a 280 up top less of a headache, though we don't have a 280 rad to test. Usually the headache caused with a 280 is from the width interfering with top corner motherboard wiring and even RAM height, but working with a 360 was fairly easy. Small things for improvement first. The drive bay mounted fan is a great idea, but GPU power wiring also is right in this area. If you're using default PSU cables, they come with pigtails, and the possibility for the pigtails to fall into the spinning fan is very high. They should have a grate or mesh on top to protect against this. It was also in the way of our Supreme's GPU support stand, and we had to run the aftermarket cable extensions through the top bay of the drive cage. Next, the PSU cover can be sometimes difficult to remove with the front panel I/O connected. I'm hiding cabling here, though if you have it above, I guess there's no problem. That rear hole for PSU wires to go through is really cramped though. Top motherboard tray holes are a bit smaller than normal also. Guess the removable top design needed more material to keep it rigid. If you are wiring up a top-mounted radiator, this is also where you'll spend the most time, and you enter the danger zone. The removable top panel was awesome for getting access to this usually cramped space. However, there's nowhere you can put it with a rad attached. Gravity works against you as you work underneath it for an AIO, and holding a 360 in one hand isn't an option because you need both for carefully wiring through small pass-throughs and plugging in all the fan and ARGB headers. Most of the almost accidents occurred when we were wiring, so basically anytime we needed the panel removed to do work. To raise the rad attached panel, we tried chopsticks diagonally across the corners, a bad idea as they rolled everywhere, and small boxes fell out too easily. We finally used a long ruler lengthwise, but that had a dangerous tendency to want to slide out. I wasn't pulling on the wires, but the little actions with wires below made it shift around a bit each time. Working below a heavy, unsecured panel is hazardous. We nearly dropped the rad in the case a few times. Luckily, quick reaction saved a possibly expensive fall. We ended up using a large same height box behind to angle the rad onto for support, just secure it, or the rad might slide and fall into the case. Does this removable panel help? Immensely, but it really needs some kind of bracket system or a strut to hold it up. I've worked on a case for an MSI project a while back that had a top slide out radiator mount. Super easy to use it as it could slide out completely and you can rest it on top. This one you can sit it askew, but it's a bit precarious and doesn't give you the extra working space this way. Anyways, this is retooling by Cooler Master at the mid-tier PC case price point. Hopefully they'll improve with their next version of this case. Because it really does come down to the price. In Taiwan at $110 US, this is a decent deal versus the TD500 mesh we got for $95-ish. The longer huge space, big fans, 10 gig Type-C and top panel is worth it. In the US at an MSRP of $170, however, you could buy a whole case with that $60 difference, and even with pandemic shipping affecting this, it's hard to balance that with what you get here. Consider the H500 we reviewed a while back, link up top right on your screen. That came in at $120 at the time. That had a top handle, 4 USB ports, 2 of which were USB 3, a removable PSU cover, and notably a swappable acrylic front panel. It was a smaller case, though similar great build experience, though no Type-C. So if you can get this Cooler Master HAF 500 at sale prices, I think this will be a better value proposition. If you choose the Cooler Master HAF 500 or are looking at another case, shopping through our affiliate links below will help us here with no extra cost to you. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Techspin Review, and there's companion posts to our reviews on techspinreview.com. A big thanks to Team Group for being our sponsor. They're a leading solution in DDR4, DDR5, and SSDs, and they won't break the bank. Check them out at the link below. Join the discussion in the comments, and please hit like, subscribe, the bell, and we do reply to feedback, so if you have a question, fire away. We really appreciate you watching this far. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you on the next. Bye for now.